Hi there. We are live and it is April 2026.
Yes. Yes.
Time
We've made it past April Fool's Day and we're ready to keep going into spring.
We are. Time has this very it is going fast for me with everything going on right now. So I'm like, how is it April? And yet also grateful that it's going fast, I think, in some ways too.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm Tricia Broderick.
I'm Diana Larsen.
And we co-wrote Lead Without Blame.
Yes.
And I was taking, because we're moving, right? I was taking science down and covering and stuff. And then it was like, and I had our poster of the release that my former Agile for All team made of our book launch and stuff. And it just made me happy that for several years, we've been able to engage and continue and propagate and help and make a difference with it. And I was taking it down and I was covering it up, but that's the hard part about a move is taking, I'm like, don't let this get ruined.
Right. Moving is so challenging. There's so many there's all the logistical parts of it that are challenging, but there's the emotional parts of it that are challenging as well. Yeah. For sure.
But we're going with it. So today, as usual, we're coming live on a different, although we've been kind of consistent, but now it's a Tuesday, and we're going live. And today's topic is foolishness and humor in the workplace and the importance of it and to be able to laugh during the day and why and things like that. So let's first highlight a little bit of why did we pick this topic and why we think generally this is, and then we'll go into some specifics.
Right. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons we picked it was because we knew we were going to be talking right after April Fool's Day, and we figured that probably some folks would be having have just had some fun with that, I hope. And so, but thinking about it as a more serious topic, as well as a fun topic, I think was partly on our mind. And, spring fever, it's just, kind of fun to mess around this time of year.
Yeah. Well, and there is, there's kind of that dynamic of the research science that they've highlighted of the benefits to laughter and the benefits of even smiling and how that can help with your creativity and your energy and your engagement and things. And it really is contagious, right? If I'm with somebody that is super happy and stuff, I mean, I might be annoyed at you at first, especially if I'm not, but it's hard to not feel that vibe and and we've done a lot with those different things. And there is just a value of that laughter and that lightness and silliness in the workplace. In fact, actually, Christina just was on my live for the other thing for my other post, and the importance of it. And she's somebody who's phenomenal at doing that. And so there is a dynamic of the energy with it, but I think there's some other values that come. And I think people think of just that part of it as it helps you mentally and stuff, which I'm not downplaying by any means at a bare minimum. But I think there's a lot of other powerful benefits when it comes to that silliness, that laughter, that foolishness, the humor in the workplace. And so unscripted as usual, but let's explore and see what we come up with some of those. So one of the first things I thought about was thinking back during COVID times when a lot of people who weren't used to working remotely started working remotely. And I think about some of the things that teams did to make it feel better about working remotely, right? And there was lots of silliness. There was be right back cards and, there was that kind of stuff and people shuffling them around and not getting it right exactly the first time and laughing about that.
there was, I just noticed that I'm still wearing my hat. I went for a walk this morning. It was kind of cool out.
I'm kind of impressed that you're wearing a green color with the virtual background, and you're not
everything's an
completely
accessory,
right
Tricia. Everything is an accessory in my life. Anyway, but it made me think of one of the things I remember happening was people telling me about how they were having Silly Hat Friday. And on Friday, everybody on the team would show up wearing some kind of silly hat. And some people had quite large collections of silly hats, or just, just hats that they normally wouldn't wear to work. And how doing that as a team activity and something that they could do when they weren't together physically, but could do through virtually, helped to bond them as a team, helped to either keep that bond or initiate that bond of those people as a team. And I think a lot of the things that people did during that time were about bringing laughter to the team, having that experience of laughing together, sharing things. And there were lots of other things that people shared that way to sort of do some of that virtual team building when nobody was really used to doing virtual team building yet, right? And yet those were some of the first things that people reached for, was how do we laugh together? How do we,
especially when it feels like the world is in chaos and everything else, it feels more important than ever too.
Right. Well, and a lot of the things that are available to us in our online communication tools now weren't available then. They were much more rudimentary. And so it was, kind of working with what we had. I mean, now you can have a gazillion reactions on Zoom, for instance, and it sends up balloons and it does all kinds of things. It didn't do that in the beginning. You were lucky to get a hand, right? And so there, that has been recognized as it's important to give people that kind of opportunity to respond to each other in a visible way and so on, because frankly, when we're working together virtually, our only modality is our tone of voice and how we look, what the things we can see. We don't get any of the other kind of physical manifestations of actually being with other people. And so because that is so limited, people had to figure out how do we make this fun, right? And I remember thinking about that a lot with the different workshops and things that we were doing at the time, and how do we make this more fun? Because the other thing is, humans learn through fun, learn through play. That is one of our major stories, and play are the major ways that we as humans learn. And so we needed to pull that into whatever the context we're working together in. So anyway, I was thinking about that a lot in terms of, when have I seen the sort of utility of silliness? Yeah.
I think one of the huge, and I would love to tell you this was intentional right off the bat. I don't know if it really was, but one of the things that I found, especially as I kept getting promoted or in senior positions and stuff, was humor was a way to balance some of the power dynamic, fear and association, right? Like it made me more accessible as an individual and as a human, that it was okay, right? Like you could play a prank on me, you could do this, like I'm gonna have fun. I'm not this scary person walking down the, well, I mean, I'm scary, but like in a different way. and but it was relatable. And and I think I can think back to like, oh my gosh, like I was the overall project manager for this project. And when heated seats first came out in the cars, and I didn't know what a heated seat was, right? Like and my team, we all went to lunch, and they picked the furthest lunch spot that they could find, and they turned my heated seat on. And I am the only female in a car full of dudes thinking something's wrong with me. And I am just dying, right? Like, and I'm like something like I'm rolling down they held it together so well, like didn't break at all. Finally, I was like, I don't think I feel very well. I'm like, I'm sweating. Like, I don't know. It was just so not an experience that knew what it was. And then they started laughing, like heated seat. And I was like, oh my God, like, how do you explain the butts on fire in the car full of your team, right? Like, but it was fun and light, and it made it accessible and okay to engage and I think honestly, for almost every position I've been in, every workplace, there's always been that. Like my office has been filled with balloons, and one guy, the late Dave DeRochers, actually put in tiny little mics in my office panel that spoke randomly, and just like little things that were just fun and engaging for each other. But it made me accessible as the boss, right? As the position of power, more accessible to people, to where, like, even an internship, an intern, I just saw him not too long ago. I remember my first day of an internship, and my job was to help destroy somebody's desk.
Like, oh my gosh. Yes.
But like, that is like, he's like, it is an experience that, like, I, with the director of development, helped destroy somebody's desk on my first day of my job. Nobody's gotten to say that. And it's just a little bit of a way to engage with people in a team bonding kind of experience, but in a level setting that makes it not like fair game, right? Like, and approachable. And I really do feel like humor and silliness can accommodate for that a lot, and help to balance some of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that reminds me of a time when I was in a workspace, an open workspace, where it was kind of open, but we all had doors, and you never knew if you were going to be the one who came to work and opened the door into your kind of cube workspace area, and it would be full of balloons, right?
Like favorite moments,
balloons they were so great because they are like easy to clean up. You just pop them all, and then you just pick up.
I don't know. They put confetti in there too. I was cleaning that up for a long time.
But there are lots of things you can do to lighten the day, lighten everybody's day, and I think that's just so incredibly important to be able to do that, and especially. There's another story actually that we tell. I don't remember if we told it in Lead Without Blame, but I know that we told it in the Agile Retrospectives book, of a team I was working with, and I wasn't there on site all the time, but I was there quite a bit. And one of the times I was there was like a crunch time. Everybody was head down. It was a pretty big team. It might have been like 11 people or something. Everybody had their heads down. Everybody was crunch time. Everybody was sweating it and just getting, more and more and stressed. And this one woman on the team, they had this tradition, this routine of when they needed to call a quick ad hoc team meeting. They had those batakas, those inflatable bat kind of things, because when you whack those together, they don't make an obnoxious sound, but they just bop, 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 right? And so she came in and she's doing that, and everybody's like, "What? We're busy." They were all reacting, and she said, "I just want to note to everybody that we have gone 2 weeks without anyone breaking the build," or it was something simple like that. But then she wheeled in this whole tray full of this whole cart full of cupcakes, and said, "I think we need a quick break." And everybody started laughing. They all got up. They got their cupcakes. It took 7 to 10 minutes. Yeah. I mean, it took really no time at all before everybody turned around and went back. But the comic relief of that changed the whole atmosphere in the room. People got back to work because they knew they still needed to meet their deadline, but they had this moment of laughing together and the physiological
Relief,
benefits of
right? Like a
that and
relief.
so on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really, and it was so silly because those silly batakas and and she had the cart all decorated and, congratulations team and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't the sort of like big success. It was a small thing, but worth noting, right? We've done well together, and it was just great. Yeah.
I think that leads into maybe the final benefit or the highlight of it too is like it does force some vulnerability, right? Like
Yeah.
it could have been a bomb of bringing those cupcakes in and nobody reacting. But the reality is with more times than not, when you're willing to be silly and you're just taking some time and putting some effort with it, people want other people to be successful. People want others, like they may have not been willing to be vulnerable and smack those things all over, but if you own it, you go with it, people will engage, right? And a lot of times that vulnerability of allowing that silliness, allowing that, is this going to work, actually does work, and it works in ways that you may not even be surprised with. So it does force some vulnerability for people in terms of allowing yourself to be silly and do something maybe unique in that humor aspect with it. So we're at time already. These just go by so fast. Where can people find you coming up?
Well, I'm going to be at the Portland PMI chapter conference later this month on the 17th. Then later in the very last week of the month, I'll be at the Retrospective Facilitators Gathering, which this year is in Quebec, which I've never been to Quebec. So I'm very excited about that.
Either. Do you need somebody
yeah, you're going to be busy. You're packing, you're doing things. I have a team liftoffs. If you go to teamliftoffs.com, you can learn about the workshop that's coming up on May 7th and 8th. I'm doing with Neil Taylor. And what else? Oh, and we are really getting to very close to launching the newest program from DianaLarsen.com that's called Thrive in Turbulent Times. And it'll be in our newsletter. There's going to be a bunch of announcements that go out. But that's the ability to become a part of that is on the brink of being ready. So I'm pretty excited about that too. Yeah.
Perfect. I do not have many public things coming up. I've been pretty busy with certain things, but I will actually be at things that I know of. I have a Leading Amazing Teams public course coming up in May. That's a virtual class that Jake Calabrese and I do. I will be teaching an upcoming course with Christina, but I can't announce it quite yet. It's going to get announced next week with things. Yeah. So, but it's in the product space lane, which is, I'm super excited about with that. So that's a virtual offering that's going to be coming in June, but announcement to come next week, I think. And then I'm actually going to be at a Vistage. How do you say Vistage event?
I think it's Vistage. Yeah.
Vistage event in Seattle in May for just one day. But otherwise, I'm kind of limited for the next couple months. I'm going to be moving and traveling and working and prepping things. So my plate is full, but not on a public kind of state. So if you have specific requests for us or you want certain questions or anything, just let us know. Otherwise, we'll be back. Our next one is going to be a little bit later because of all these things going on for both of us. So we'll be going live on May 26th next month.
Yeah.
Otherwise, until next
You've got exciting times ahead, Tricia.
I'm excited. Likewise. But it is making for a very, very good thing. I like check marks because I got a lot of lists right now.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But always going to take time for this and highlight of my day as I laugh and smile, and my cheeks already hurt a little bit right now. So until next time, and then let us know.